Tina.
We about to
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, law of cosines for all you second perioders who are absent in class today because of whatever. Today we're taking a look at the law of cosines. Guys, this is a second way to solve for missing sides and angles in any triangle, not just right triangles, but any triangle. Folks, these are your three equations: the green, the red, and the blue, and the magenta equations. These are the three equations right here that we can use to solve, but they're much more complicated looking than the law of sines, right? So I try not to use these whenever I can. Okay. So when would you have to use the law of cosines to solve for missing sides and angles, and when you could use the law of sines? Well, when you don't have the complete package, right? Now, we said that for the complete package, I need to know an angle on the opposite side. Well, for the law of sines as a review, I know I can use the law of sines when I'm given two angles and a side that's not between them. Two angles and the side that is between them. Or like in last night's homework, an angle and two sides where you have an angle, then a side, then a side. If you're given this scenario here, angle, angle, side, angle, side, side, I know I can use the law of sines. And again, just quickly drawing this out, if I drew out these triangles just to hammer home the point, if I have a triangle, okay, right? All right. Now I've got to start all over. You dropped your bottle. All right, ready? Take a look at this. If I'm given for angle, angle, side, let's bring this guy over. What angle, angle, side says is if I'm given two angles and they say this side, why are you allowed to use the law of sines here?
Because you have a package.
I got the complete package of an angle on the opposite side, correct? So for angle, angle, side, I know I can use the law of sines. For angle, side, angle, that would be an angle, a side, and an angle. At first glance, it doesn't look like I can use the law of sines, but why do I know I'm allowed to? Can't you simply find this law, this third angle C by just doing the triangle sum theorem? Second 180. I've got the complete package. I know I can use the law of sines. Agreed?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So, lastly, if I'm given an angle, a side, an angle, a side, and a side. Again, do I have the complete package?
Yes.
So I can use the law of sines, right? By the way, out of these three scenarios, and so those are the scenarios where you can use the law of sines. Which of these is the ambiguous case?
ASS.
The angle, side, side, right?
Yeah.
This is the one where you're not clear. What does it mean to be ambiguous?
Because it could either
What are your three options?
no triangle, one
You
triangle.
have no triangle with the information, one triangle with the information, two triangles with the information, right? Okay. Now, what happens if you're given this? Suppose you're given two sides, like A, B, and this angle in the middle, say, angle C. Can I use the law of sines here? No. I don't have the complete package, right?
No.
In this situation, if I'm given a side, an angle, and a side, I have to use the law of cosines. Similarly, if I'm given just this, suppose I'm given all three sides, do you have the complete package? Then you can't use the law of sines, you've got to use the law of cosines. So I know that if I'm given all three sides, or two sides and the angle in the middle, that I got to use the law of cosines, right? Okay, so now let's take a look at how we actually do that. All right? Let's put him back. All right? When using side, 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 or when given side, 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 or side, angle, side, I know I've got to use the law of cosines. Okay? Now, folks, these rules are very important, and I'm telling you right now, some of you are going to fall down on this. If you on the quiz and the test, you always find your angles, your missing angles from smallest to largest. If you don't, you'll get the problem wrong. Even though your math is right, your answer will be wrong. Okay? Always find your angles from smallest to largest. Again, you're going to have three angles, so you have to find, right? Well, again. Hey, folks, if you don't, would you agree the smallest angle always has to be across from the small side?
Yes.
Medium angle from a medium side across the biggest angle across the biggest side, right? Okay. So that's how you're going to make that decision on which one. Okay. That's fine. Rebecca, you see me? Excuse me? All right. Now,
We're back.
folks, to find the missing parts of a triangle, I know I find the angles from smallest to largest, but the nice thing is, once you find your first part using the law of cosines, you'll definitely have the complete package at that point, so you can use the law of sines. So whenever you're doing the law of cosines, you always use the law of cosines to find the first piece of information, use the law of sines to find your second piece of information, and lastly, and I guarantee you on this, you'll always be able to use triangle sum theorem, which says that all angles have to be an 80 triangle, to find your last piece of information, okay? Okay, so now I know that I'm going to use the law of cosines. Folks, to help you memorize this long, complicated formula, let's take a look at some general common remarks here. If I start with side C, what angle do I have to end with?
C.
Angle C. If I start with a side, I have to end with his opposite angle. Start with C, end with C. Start with B, end with B. Start with A, end with A. Now take a look at this. The rest of this kind of looks like Pythagorean theorem, doesn't it? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Minus 2BA cosine of C. Right? Watch out how I write these letters. I've got C, A, B, B, A, C. Notice, you see that? B, A, C, C, A, B. A, C, B, C, C, A. Right? If you take a look at this problem, would you agree this is the problem number 8 from your homework last night? Yeah. And we said we couldn't do it. But now watch how we can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, in this problem I'm given a side, an angle, and a side. I know that I can't use the law of sines, but I can use the law of cosines. Here's the rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you have to find in the side angle side formula is the side across from the angle that's given. Is that clear? So I know that the law of cosines would start, in this case, with the letter B. Does that make sense? It would say B squared equals, well, A squared plus C squared minus 2CA cosine of angle B. Again, we always, Ginger, we always start with the side across from the angles that we're looking for. Okay? All right? We're okay with this? Yeah, we're doing all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's fill in the letters that we know now. Well, let's see here. I'm looking for B squared, so I must not know him. What's the value of A?
8.
So 8 squared plus
19 squared
minus
minus 2, 19 times 19 times
8
cosine of 72.
cosine of 72. Now see that? The nice thing about this, folks, would you agree that this right side is just math? So you just do that in your calculator.
Oh.
Okay? So everybody, do the math on your calculators and tell me what this B squared value will equal. Okay, everybody take out your calculators. Okay? Lance, did you do this problem?
I did.
What did you get for B squared? What did B squared equal?
18.2.
Really? That's what you got for B squared, Lance?
No.
331.05.
Thank you, Misha. 331 points. What?
06 if you're rounding.
To what?
6.
06?
6 if you're rounding. 6 if you're rounding. Oh,
Okay.
you're on to the 10?
So how would I give B alone? Don't you just square it both sides? So my final answer for this?
18.2.
18.2.
Yes.
So I know now that this side B is 18.2. Now this is why you always want to put this into the picture.
Complete package.
Oh, and then we can do it.
Now wait, if I put 18.2 into this problem now, folks, do you have the complete package now?
Yes.
So now I can go forward and I can find the other missing pieces. Now this is the important part. Gertrude,
Yeah.
what do you find next in this triangle? It's your choice. Angle A or angle C.
Let's do A.
Does it matter?
No.
Yes,
So default.
So which one do I have to find?
A.
Angle A. Thank you, Gertie.
So,
Okay.
sine
So I'm going to sine of
72
over
18.2
equals
sine of A
over.
8.
Everybody agree with that?
Big chip.
Okay. You guys.
We're trying to figure out which angle's the smallest.
Okay. Remember, that's a good question.
Opposite
Remember
side.
that the smaller the angle, the smaller the opposite side, and vice versa. Since 8 is smaller than 19, I know that his opposite angle has to be smaller than angle C. Does that make sense? So that's why I knew that A would be the first angle I found.
It's 24.7.
Huh?
Why do you have to find not 1 first?
Why? Again, because if you don't, you can get this answer wrong, the problem wrong. Even though your math is correct, there's an idea that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll talk about later on this year, about why using the law of sines. If you don't do it this way, you can get the wrong answer, okay? We will talk about that, okay? All right, Priscilla, thank you. Okay, so what did we get for
24.7.
24.7?
You're true.
Okay, so that's angle A is 24.7.
And then you get 83.3 for.
Folks, what's the easiest way to find angle C at this point?
Triangle sum theorem.
Yes, triangle sum. What do we get?
180 minus that.
Which is
80.3. Am I right?
80.3 degrees.
83.3.
All right.
83.3.
You said 80.3.
No, 83.3.
Oh,
So
Sheila.
much sad.
Oh my god.
I still did like
Rebecca's sassy.
Okay.
He's saying,
Tina.
Come on,
You
Tina.
got a problem with that, Candace? She seems like a Candace.
She does not.
Candy, right? Candace, right?
I can see that person.
Betsy.
that
All right.
I'm into.
Okay. Now on this next one, ladies and gentlemen, what am I giving? What's my given information here? I'm given 3 sides. Folks, would you agree there is no way that I have the law of sines here because I don't have an angle on the opposite side?
That's right.
Okay? Folks, this is the real important one where you have to go from smallest to largest, okay? I will say this, by the way. When I say you have to go from smallest to largest, there are other techniques. I teach it to go from smallest to largest. But if you don't use the technique from smallest to largest, then you are going to have multiple techniques to remember.
So now we're using the b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine of b and look for cosine of b.
No.
A.
Folks, out of these 3, all right, Samantha, what will I find out of these 3 side angles, A, B, or C? Which one would I find
That's
first?
so ironic. A. Mr. Kong.
Well, excuse me.
A.
What will I find first?
A.
If I have to find the angle from smallest to largest.
A.
A, right? I'll find A first. All right. So to find angle A, Atula, set up the equation that'll solve for this angle A using the law of cosines. What will it say?
It'll say a.
Using the law of cosines, yeah?
Oh, so it's A squared
Equals.
equals C squared
Uh-huh.
plus B squared
I like that.
minus
Uh-huh.
2
Uh-huh.
CB
Uh-huh.
cos A.
Are we okay with that equation?
What is
No, it's
Yes.
BC. I like
CB, BC, that. All right. So now let's fill in our numbers. Tristan, in the back. What am I going to fill in? Tell me what I'm right.
Okay, so it's going to be 5 squared equals 13 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 parentheses 13 parentheses 9 cos A.
All right. Everybody got this?
Yes.
Thank you, Tristan. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me give you a point. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Folks, to get this angle A alone, don't I have to get all this yammer away from it? Now, you can't divide first.
Sine,
Folks.
cosine inverse.
How do at some point, you're going to do cosine inverse, right?
Yeah.
But, ladies and gentlemen, before you can do that, don't you have to get rid of these numbers? Okay, you have to get rid of the 13 squared, the 9 squared, the 2, and 13, and the 9, right? Well, folks, how are the 13 squared and the 9 squared attached? Added. So I have to move those first. I'm going to subtract those across. So I'm going to get 5 squared minus 13 squared minus 9 squared equals negative 2 times 13 times 9 times the cosine of angle A. Ever see this? Now, folks, let me tell you something. If you do this differently, there's a good chance that you're going to get your calculator to give you error.
Yeah,
You remember how with angle side side you're allowed to get domain errors? This you cannot. I know that you have to get an answer. So let me tell you how the reason why. You're going to have to use parentheses if you're going to do it your way. But in my opinion, and again, I've been doing this a long time, a little bit extra work is going to save you a lot of confusion. Folks, do this math on the left side. What's 5 squared minus 13 minus 9 squared? What is this answer right here? 225, negative 225. Again, honey, aren't the 13 squared and the 9 squared, are they added to this? So don't you subtract them across? That makes sense? All right, and that equals, what's negative 2 times 13 times 9? Negative 224? Negative 234, right? Okay. Negative 234 cosine of angle A. Everybody see how we got this?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So do you just
Now, at this point, how do I solve for a cosine of A?
Yes,
Divide. Folks, this one little step, I'm telling you, will save you a lot of confusion because you cannot get an error in the law of cosines, all right? So you're going to get, would you read cosine inverse of 225 or negative 225 or negative 234, but really, what happens to the negatives if you want to just cancel them out, right?
Just positive.
It goes to A, right?
why does it change the answer?
Because, honey, what you were doing, because you didn't use parentheses appropriately, you're going to get a different answer, okay?
Yeah, I got error.
Yeah, that's why. So when you do the cosine inverse, what do you get?
0.96.
Oof,
That's
that's
before you do
before you do that, you 0.96.
And then you get
16.9.
15 point, how much? 15.9 degrees. Do we all concur with
Wait,
I got that.
wait, what?
Tiffany.
Tiff? Thank you, timekeeper. Folks, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Here we go. Right?
Thank you, Ginger.
Running clock after this, right? Okay? Folks, so now angle A is 15.9 degrees. What's that, Lance? What did you say, Nabil? All right.
Whoa.
Folks, folks, at this point now, I know that this angle is 15.9 degrees.
Just do law of sines.
Can't I do the law of sines at this point?
Would you do B now?
Well, again, you have to find the small. What's the next angle that you'd find?
B.
You have to find B. If you do not find B next, you will get the wrong answer. So I'm going to go sine of B over 9 equals the sine of 15.9 over 5. Okay, you guys solve for B real quick.
Like your voice is like, hello.
All right, hold on. Patricia said you got how much?
29.5.
29.5 degrees. Well, folks, if that's 29.5 degrees, how can I quickly get angle C? Triangle sum. What did you get?
134.6.
134.6 degrees. Thank you. Hey, folks,
Thank you.
your homework is a worksheet that's posted online.
Thanks, Mauricio.